there's this aircraft that was carrying the Speaker of the House. Cokie Roberts' father was this guy, Hale Boggs, okay? Hale Boggs was a Democrat, and he was the Speaker of the House in the 70s. And Alaska had, at that time, only one. Alaska had a sole congressman. There was an airplane that had Begich, their sole congressman, the Speaker of the House, an assistant, and a pilot that went down in Alaska in the 70s. Still no one's found that plane. Speaker of the House. Like, imagine that happened now. You know what I mean? Yeah, 1972.
Yeah, and but it makes sense in Alaska.
Oh, it does, but then you get into the huge number of all these missing aircraft, and like all that search centered around this glacier, that it would have been swallowed by a glacier. And we went to this other site where this military transport plane years ago did go down in a glacier, and the glacier swallowed it, and I think it was like, 20 some years later, that glacier started to spit that plane out at the toe of the glacier. Like, it carried it, I don't know what it is, 13 miles under the ice, and then started to spit out human remains and plane parts. Every spring, the military goes to the foot of that glacier, every summer, they go to the toe of that glacier, and they're still identifying human remains that are moving out of that thing miles away from where that plane burrowed into that glacier.
1952.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that wheel.
Yep. And on top of that glacier, we had got there after that. We flew over it in a helicopter. They don't want you landing there. But on top of that glacier is all this orange paint spots. They weren't working there anymore, but you can tell they were in there marking everything that you could see coming out of that as that glacier recedes.
Wow.
And they're marking all those pieces. So this other glacier where like most of that search focused for that Begich Boggs flight focused on this one glacier, but if you do the math on that glacier, had it gone into that glacier where they had spent a ton of time looking at, like, into a crevasse in that glacier, had it gone into that glacier, the glacier would have spit it out by now, because you can kind of track how much a glacier moves every year. So now it's kind of, the idea that it was in that glacier has been kind of put to rest.